I'm going to have to tee off in front of Tom Watson, and I am playing some of the worst golf any human's ever seen. So in the group, Trey's obviously pro. Josh plays off about 6, Andy plays off about 18, and I'm playing off, I don't know. Tom's watching. I think Trey went first, obviously, and he striped his. No, Andy was next, and I was up next. I hit the best drive probably of the year.
Fantastic.
I absolutely smoked it down the first. And then the funny thing is that Josh, who was last, who hits his driver really well, he topped it 30 yards in front of him. And then Tom gave him some tips for a couple of minutes. Usually the rubbish is the best stuff.
Oh, John E. Morgan was cracking for that. What a lad!
He doesn't stop talking. Like,
No,
he
2
could
hours.
talk. He could talk for weeks, Mogsy. Like, he's great. His stories, I don't know what stories he told you overall. Did he tell you the Kelsey Grammer story with his daughter?
No.
Okay, that's not
That's for another
airable.
time.
That's for another time over a beer. He's just got amazing stories when he was on tour. Incredible.
I mean, I listened to some of the podcasts that he'd been on and some other stuff. And I mean, I'm 48, so I've been addicted to golf for ages. So my early memories is watching him and everyone his age playing Euro Pro, that sort of stuff before it became Matchroom, before it disintegrated. Yeah, so it was an absolute pleasure to talk to him, and he's so down to. I actually met him at St Andrews in October, and he was trying to get everyone to hit his persimmon woods.
Yeah, he does it all the time. He does it all the time.
But he was such a gent. He just started talking as if I'd known him for ages, and we had just chatted. He said, "Jump in the buggy. I'm heading down to the range."
Yeah.
Talked, and he said, "Here's my mobile. Give us a shout. I'll come on."
Yeah, he's
And
great.
yeah, honestly,
He's
2
great.
hours.
Everyone loves Mogsy. Everyone loves him.
He's so down to earth, isn't he? Real.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. He's really good. Really good.
So, Josh, thanks for coming on, mate. Do appreciate it.
No problem.
I don't know if you've seen any of the bits and pieces. Usually me and Chris. He's busy today, so we can just chew the fat and have a conversation and go from there.
Yeah, go for it.
I have to say that you, for me anyway, are pretty much one of the founding fathers of golf podcasts, right?
That's a nice thing to say.
I think so. I think it's true.
I know. I never thought about that really, because I don't know, when I started the podcast, like there wasn't many golf podcasts around.
Exactly.
There just weren't. When did I start? 7 years ago? Like, No Laying Up were going.
Of course.
There weren't many others that I can think of that are still going, that are still that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see there was a bit of a gap. And I mean, I'd had no experience of doing podcasts. I'd no experience of doing anything.
Yeah.
But I knew golf, and I loved golf. Yeah. So I never thought of myself like that. I still don't really. So I mean, that is a big compliment. So thank you.
Well, I mean it, because when you look at Sky Sports Golf Podcast, and I actually had a look just yesterday, I think it's well over 300. I know it's been taken over, you sort of did something else, didn't you, January last year?
Yeah.
But it's been going for a good few years. And some of that, as you just named, No Laying Up, Fried Egg, some of the other ones, couple in the UK. Exactly, Chipping Foot. You know, are into the... They are great.
Really damn good, Chipping Foot. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it helps when you've got a tour player that can dive in and out.
Ed can really talk.
He scares me, actually.
In what way?
Well, when you listen to him, and I've been following he does a blog, you might have read it. I've been following it for years, and he clearly knows how to speak. Very intelligent man, clearly knows how to present and put himself across, certainly in the written word. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And I've watched some of his interviews, especially Sky, when they walk down the fairway. And sometimes he looks so happy. Other times he looks like, you're bothering me now. And he sort of wears his heart on his sleeve, and you can tell in his facial expressions that now's not the time. I'll talk to you, but quite frankly, I'd rather not. But without being aggressive. I hope that sort of makes sense. He seems to be a very focused individual.
Yeah, he is. Look, I know Ed really well. Him and me, I consider us friends, and he is like that. You know, he sometimes put across that he doesn't care, but he does care. He cares a lot. He cares a lot about golf and getting better and things like that. And it would have been interesting if he didn't get his card for this season, what he would have done. He was talking about doing a degree at Open University, but Jen, his wife, she is amazing, I think she would have said to him, look, you can't do that. And he is so clever. It's ridiculous how clever he is and very articulate.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
as you said, does wear his heart on his sleeve. It really does. So Ed's one of the good guys.
Yeah,
Definitely one of the
he
good guys.
comes across as somebody who thinks about everything he says
Massively,
before he says it. I like
massively,
that. Yeah, I like that. But
massively.
he's not on social media much, is he?
No, not anymore. He was on X, and I think that's got in the way. It was making life too difficult, even though Ed's got a great opinion on a lot of things, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I just think it's easier. Life's easier sometimes without X. I'm on X, but I don't write it. I'm not on it anymore. I put some stuff on Instagram, mostly my dog. But yeah, I don't either really anymore. I just read it. So
Yeah, for us, it's all about, I suppose, Instagram, short form content, reels, etc., etc. Be a TikTok, that sort of thing. I mean, I threw a few things at you yesterday. I don't want to go through it in a structured fashion, but it can form the template, I suppose, of some of the things that we mentioned. I mean, most people, if not all of our listeners, will know exactly who you are and what you've done. But I was interested in that question of why journalism. We go right back at the beginning because it obviously led to where you are now. But why journalism?
Yeah, so I did. By the way, your research on some of the things you've asked me, I don't know how you found some of the things. There's one thing coming up, which I'll say in a minute. I don't know how you found about that.
Okay.
I did journalism at university. It's funny, actually. When I was like really young, like 9 or 10 years old, I really wanted to be a football commentator. Even back then, I wanted to be a football commentator. I loved football, and I'd always talk over the football, over the tapes I would watch and stuff like that. And when I was playing in the playground or the park, I'd like commentate on myself or everyone else. And then, I don't know, I just wanted to write just before university. And it's funny, like, I remember my last year at school in sixth form. So I just turned 18, 18. And a journalist came in to do like a talk. Like it was her job. And she was telling everyone, and she said how much she earned. And then I was like, maybe I don't want to be a journalist. Like back then, when was that? 2000, like they were doing well to get 5 figures. I was like, oh, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. Anyway, I took a year out and did traveling, but then I did journalism at Staffordshire University. And it's funny looking back on it, I don't know how much I learned.
Right.
I mean, I reckon quite a few people might think that at university, but I wouldn't have got my job at Sky if I didn't go to university, because the guy that got me the job at Sky was my cricket captain at university.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, this doesn't apply to TV and radio and media. This applies to all jobs. It's who you know, not what you know. And it's so true. It is so, look, you obviously got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
Because you'll get found out. But it's who you know. I never believed it, but it really is. It really is. I really liked writing back then, and I did like loads of stuff. There was a website, I think it's still going, called footballfancast.com. I have a feeling it's still going, and I wrote some Spurs things for that. I don't know whether no one's found those articles. They've gone into the ether somewhere. I would cringe if I was to read those now. But I did loads of things for local papers and websites. I did like work experience and stuff like that, and I did really enjoy it. And that's where I got my taster of like interviewing sports people. And like I interviewed some amazing. I went to this website called sport.co.uk, run by a guy called Nigel, who I still know really well. And like I worked there for like 2 weeks work experience, and I think my first interview was David Ginola, who is like a hero of mine.
Yeah.
And like it was only on the phone, but like I was really nervous. But that gave me a great just, how to interview someone, even though I probably did it terribly, but like just how to form questions and, to listen to answers and things like that. That set me really, really well.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't know what else to do apart from journalism. That was the other thing. I knew I wanted to be in sports somewhere, but even though I didn't do sports journalism as such, it was just straight journalism, learning how to do shorthand and things like that. I knew I wanted to go into that kind of area, I guess.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. And you say football. I take it you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah. Do you want to bring it up? I mean, how long we got?
As long as you like.
It is painful at the moment. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Big Ange, but fair play to him for winning that trophy by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
It's funny, when Frank came in, Thomas Frank, I have a Spurs chat with 2 producers at Sky. It's funny, a lot of the golf team at Sky are Spurs fans. I think there's 5 of us at least. Yeah, there's at least 5. And I said when Frank came in, I said, look, he could be great. I don't know what his tactics and his philosophy are. And you know what? I still don't. And he's had 20 games in the Prem. That worries me a little bit. So yeah, I've been a fan since I was like 5 years old. So
Right.
Gazza was my absolute footballing hero. Like
Yeah.
he was my hero growing up.
Yeah.
Obviously, he went by the wayside a little bit as he's got older and everything else that's happened. But footballing wise, that man was my hero. I had like books, I had videos, everything on him, and obviously Lineker and things like that. But yeah, just yeah. And thank goodness we won a trophy at last. Although I think the boys up the road are going to win it all. I think
Oh,
I think
don't.
that.
I mean, I'm
Who do you
not
support?
okay. So I'm from Brighton, and I've
Right.
always been a Brighton fan through the highs, the lows,
Oh wow.
nearly going out of the league, and I'm a
And
season
you said you're
ticket holder.
48. Good. You Goldstone ground. You've been through it all then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But back in the day when I was, I suppose, junior school, and everyone collected Panini football stickers,
So
didn't
did
they?
I. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tottenham was my sort of school years team. So
Right.
I'm talking Hoddle, Waddle,
Yeah.
Clive Allen, Ozzy Ardiles, Gaza, all that
Yeah.
lot. And I remember, well, they'd won the FA Cup 8 times more than anyone else. That was
Yeah.
the peak. Well, that's paved insignificance since Arsenal and Man United and obviously
Yeah.
Man City.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very, very. It's a team close to my heart, Tottenham. But yeah, Brighton. I'm a big Brighton fan.
I'm jealous, you guys. I love watching you guys play.
Uh,
I wanted us to sign Matoma in the summer. I think Matoma's brilliant. I think he's really
yeah.
underrated. I think he's great. I don't think Belieber's going to stay there, is he, in the summer?
No,
I'm
we
assuming he's going to go.
keep losing big players. I mean, obviously, Bissouma was the first biggest player for
Look
us
at
to
him
go.
now.
Yeah, that didn't really work out, did it? And then,
No.
of course, there's a mass exodus: Trossard, Ben
Yeah.
White, Caicedo, Cucurella, and the
Yeah.
list keeps going on and on and
Oh, I
on.
forgot you had Cucurella. I forgot you had him.
Yeah. I mean, it's Sanchez. Half of Chelsea is Brighton.
Yeah.
They took Potter and all the coaching staff as well from Brighton. It decimated. We can't believe we're still in the Premier League with the amount of
You're doing
players
great.
that have gone. But yeah, I think you're right. Belabor.
Yeah. I like your manager, by the way.
Yes,
I think he's
nice
really
guy.
good. Yeah, I think he's a really good manager. I'd probably want him at Tottenham. I actually want Marco Silva. I
Do
actually
you?
think Marco
Right.
Silva's really good. They spent under £1 million in the summer, apparently. And like,
Yeah.
look what he's doing. Like, I watched Fulham, they play really good football. Like, I wanted Marco Silva before Frank, but we'll see. We'll see what happens against Villa in the Cup. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'll be watching that.
Yeah, we got United on Sunday, so that should be
Oh, have
interesting.
you? Oh, that'd be a good game. That'd be a good game. Best good
Yeah. Well, we had Dave Jones on the podcast a few weeks back.
Cool.
Great guy, big
Yeah.
Sunderland fan, and
Yeah.
I think he's coming down to. He does Monday Night Football, doesn't he?
Yes.
And we're playing Bournemouth Monday week. But yeah, no, my heart does bleed for you a little bit because Tottenham. I don't like Arsenal purely because they took Trossard and he was a bit of a fit on the training ground, and Ben White, and I don't really like Arteta. I shouldn't really say that live, but I'll tell you why. Nothing against him personally, and he's chilled out a little bit, but he never used to give credit where credit was due.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When Arsenal lost, it was always not their fault. And I get the winning mentality, but to be fair, Pep, he'd always come out and go, got beat.
Yeah.
Actually, they played better. But anyway, that's enough of that. I don't want to get too political. I could go
That's
to town
all right.
on football, which leads us back because obviously you wanted to get into football. Swindon Town.
Right. How did you find out about this?
Was that the
I
one?
searched this earlier. I couldn't find out about this.
So I think it was probably on one of the websites where you can be booked for speaking.
Oh, okay.
And I think there was a little bio about some of the stuff you'd done. So one of the management companies or one of the speaker booking. So there you go. It might be one of those two.
Jeez,
I'm sure it's one of those two.
Great work. Yeah, I worked for the Press Association writing on Swindon Town matches.
Right.
I did match reports at their home games.
Yeah.
At the county ground because I'm from Newbury. That's my my hometown. So Swindon's like half an hour away.
Yeah.
So I went and did that for like a season, kind of. It wasn't every game. It was I don't know, maybe 10, 12 home games a year. That's when they had Charlie Austin up front. I mean, they had a terrible team, but Charlie Austin was the standout player. And they had Sean Morrison, who was a centre back who went to Reading eventually, who I quite liked, and Matt Ritchie. They had Matt Ritchie as well, who went to Newcastle in the end. That was good. That was good. Doing there was something slightly different. I loved being in a live atmosphere. That was really cool. County ground is old.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. My wife's family from Swindon.
Oh, okay, right,
Yeah.
okay. And yeah, I really enjoy doing those. You know, just having that live atmosphere, feeling like a journalist, like feeling
Right.
like a journalist doing match reports, and then going to do the conferences afterwards and things like that. It's funny. I remember doing. It's funny. It's FA Cup weekend this weekend. I think
Yep.
I did. It was either FA Cup first round or second round midweek game, and uh, it was in December or
Oh,
January. It is the coldest
freezing.
I've ever been at a game, and all I had on was some trousers, I think a jumper, and genuinely, it went to extra time. Of course, it went to extra time, and at the end, I genuinely couldn't stand up. I couldn't. My legs are gone. That I just couldn't feel them. It was like 10:30 at night, and I couldn't walk, and so someone had to help me down the stairs. I was that cold. Oh, I can remember that so well. And you know what? Funny enough, I am still really cold all the time. Even now, my
Yeah.
hand's cold. I'm indoors, but I can remember that FA Cup game so well. Just into these grey trousers, and be helped down the stairs into the press conference room.
Yeah. I,
Jeez, but I really
I,
enjoyed doing Swindon. It was really good.
I'm laughing because I've been there on Boxing Day, so I know
Yeah,
exactly the temperature you're talking about.
yeah.
It may even have been
Baltic.
this. Oh,
Yeah.
and as back, oh, this was probably 20 years ago. They weren't playing that great. And there
No,
wasn't a lot of people in there, so there's no real
no,
energy and body heat.
no.
And we're in this open terrace at the end. Good grief,
Yeah,
yeah, it's cold.
that
So
is a cold ground.
did you think that that would be the stepping stone to do more stuff in football?
I didn't. I don't know. It's funny you ask. I don't really know. I would never say no to an opportunity, and
Right.
even now, like, kind of say yes to everything. So, like, I kind of thought that was just a really good opportunity just to get my foot in the door, really, because then you get to speak to other people and you meet other people, and it looks good on your CV, and you get good experience of writing match reports, and you refine kind of all of that, and it gives you experience of talking to managers, thinking of questions on the spot to ask managers and things like
Yeah.
that. And it's just being involved in all of that. And even though that didn't lead me down football at all, it made me learn loads of things that I didn't know before, and I was kind of just thrown into it. And you know
Right.
what? In a lot of workplaces, especially in TV, you get thrown into things. You have
Okay.
to learn on the job, and you
Yep.
just learn there and then. It's a live environment, and you
Yeah.
just have to learn. So there's kind of all of those things and problem solving. So like back then, I'd like dictaphoned, or I had to try and do shorthand, which I was okay at. It wasn't amazing. And so if the dictaphone broke, you had to try and do shorthand. I'm like, I haven't done this in like 6 months, and trying to remember all that. So it was a good stepping. I didn't think it would get me into football per
Right.
se. I mean, I think probably subconsciously I was hoping it would, because
Yep.
football is my number one sport and I love it.
Yep.
But I just was so glad of the experience, and basically getting, and I'm trying to think, back then I was like, that was my first paid job for
Right.
being a journalist as well. So I think I was just really thankful more than
Yep.
anything else
Right.
to be able to pay to do something I really enjoyed. It's like, not many people get paid to do something they really love, and I was just really thankful that I got the chance of of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's a good way of looking at it, actually, that you're
Yeah.
right. There's not a lot of people that get paid money to do what they love.
No.
And when did you start playing golf then? Before we
Oh,
come into the whole Sky Sports bit.
so I played loads of sports. I
Right.
played everything. And I probably started hitting balls probably when I was 7 or 8. I
Mm.
would say. But it's
Okay.
funny, my dad died when I was 13, but my dad was quite a hard taskmaster. He
Right.
would go to the range with me, but they were some of my favorite things. Like going to the range with my dad on a weekend was some of my favorite things. And went to Newby Racecourse driving range, and then they had a 9-hole course that they used to
Yeah.
have, and me and my dad then would progress and play that, and that was good. But I never really got better. I
Right.
really didn't for years and years. And I would only say, and we'll probably come onto this later, it was probably from watching a bit of YouTube. Like, and this is a long, hang on, was it YouTube? Like 25 years ago? Was YouTube around 25 years ago? I'm not sure.
Just right.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Or anyway, videos on the internet, just
Yeah.
tips to try and make me
Yep.
better. There's a guy, I'm sure a lot of your listeners know, you probably know, called Joe Mayo, who is the
Yep.
short game guy.
Yep.
I remember I followed Joe Mayo when he was doing full swing stuff. I can
Right.
remember him back then,
Wow.
and I can remember him so well. And I used to watch all his videos back then, and it was only then I started to get a little bit better. And then
Yep.
I didn't have my first lesson until I was about 17.
Okay.
I just
Similar
kind
to
of tried
me.
to teach
Yep.
myself, really.
Yep.
And although it's might come as later, I've fallen out of love with playing golf a
Right.
little bit, because can I swear on here?
I'll cut it out.
I won't swear then. I am terrible at golf now.
Okay.
last year, I don't play as much as I used to.
Right.
That's the thing with all sport. You just get rusty. But I was probably playing to 20, 22 handicap by the end of the year. I think I had the yips at the end of the year chipping, and I didn't know what I was doing. I
So you've
didn't
gone
know
from
what I was
8
doing by
to
the
about
end.
8-ish to about 20-ish.
Yeah, I was 7, 8
Okay.
handicap, and I've just gone to I wouldn't play close to 7, 8 handicap at the moment.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
but yes, that's kind of started then. Didn't really play at uni because I kind of played tennis at uni, played football at uni, cricket, and golf was kind of put to the side a little bit. But I played in the summer and when I could. But it's funny. The other thing now is as I got older, I do not play golf in the winter.
No,
I
same here.
have no enjoyment playing in rain, mud, and wind. It does nothing for me. And because I get really cold hands, no.
Yeah.
There were some people out last week when it was -2 playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I mean, fair play to them. And if they enjoyed it, good for them. But I can't do that anymore.
I don't think it does anything for your game anyway, in my opinion. I don't mind going to the range, but even then your hands start to...
Yeah, exactly.
Your body... Oh, certainly at my age, you don't move as... So you almost... I don't know, what's the point? You almost put
I've
in
got
bad
19
habits.
layers on. I can't get past here. Like,
Exactly.
what's the point?
Yeah. So then you come out in April, May, and you've got to retrain your brain for the next 3 or 4 months, and then it's time to stop again. Yeah, I do get that. I mean, let's fast forward. Swindon, lots happened, I'm sure. Sky Sports Golf. What came first? Was it the podcast, or I know you were sort of working behind the scenes, weren't you, with Sky Sports?
No, so I'll tell you how I got in. So I mentioned earlier that my cricket captain at uni got me a job at Sky. So his name was James.
Okay.
And when we left uni, I found out he got a job on the cricket team at Sky. And so I said to him, look, if you ever hear anything, any jobs, let me know. You know, it doesn't matter what. Again, foot in the door. And then a while later, he called me. He said, look, there might be a job going at Sky on the cricket team to be a logger. And I said, what's a logger? And he said, well, come in. He goes, I think you'll be good at it. So basically what I had to do was watch a test match, any cricket game, and I'd have to write down on a piece of paper the time, the bowler's name, batter's name, what happened, like a 4-6 wicket, whatever, if there was any nice bit of commentary, and then any replays. Certain cameras had a colour. So a certain angle had a colour, and I'd have to write that colour down for each ball. I do that for every ball for a test match. So 5 days, by the end of 5 days, I couldn't feel my wrist. I didn't have a wrist left. Anyway, the reason to do that was that the producers who were cutting the highlights of that day's play, about every hour and a half, they would come and pick up the piece of paper that I had done, and they could see where the 4s, the 6s, the wickets were. And in their edit suite on the tape, they would go to that time and they would cut the highlights like that, rather than watching it all themselves.
Wow.
They've got a logger doing it who's done it all for you. So yeah, I was getting paid to watch cricket. Like, that's cool for some. And cricket's probably in a way my second sport in a way. Don't tell my boss that about golf. But I played cricket from when I was like 8 years old through to about 35, and I still watch it. Stayed up for a load of the Ashes and stuff like that. So that was great. And then so I did that for a while, and that was really good. And then I did a few other sports, so like tennis, but rugby league, rugby union, things like that. And then like almost a load of other sports wanted to use loggers, and my boss then he like took on more loggers, and there was quite a big group of us. And then I was doing that for about maybe 6-8 months, and then he came up to me and he said, look, I need someone basically to look after all the loggers. And I was kind of like the eldest one there, and he said, would you like to do it? So I was basically made like the head of the loggers, and I would like do the rotas for each week, because we had so much sport come in each week. I'd then go and speak to all the heads of departments, say, look, what time is, so for golf, what time is the Phoenix Open starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Because I had to rota people on to log that golf, you know, and all the football matches that were going on, all the rugby, all the tennis. So I did that for like a year. That was really good because it was something, it wasn't journalism, but it was something completely different. And it got me to know loads of different people in departments and how to kind of be a manager and look after people and, you know, judge people and report back to other people. So I really enjoyed that. And then after a year, I was like, I wasn't getting bored, but I felt like I had to move on. And then a job came up on the golf team to be a junior in production. So I went for the job, and because I knew the head of golf already, he took the interview. So I think that, and he knew I loved golf. Yeah. So he did it with a guy called Tom. Tom's now one of my best friends. He's a producer on the golf team still. Yeah. And did the interview and I got the job. It was great. So then this was like 15 years ago. So I started as a junior in production. So yeah, I was like behind the scenes, like then I was the one making the highlights. So then I was the one using the logs from the loggers to make highlights. I'd make features, openers, look after the programs that would come in from other companies that we would show on Sky. So I'd have to edit those, make sure they're compliant, and then run the live golf in the gallery and things like that. Do graphics. You do a lot of things as a junior. So that is really good because you get to experience everything really. So, and then I did that for quite a while, and then I kind of knew I wanted to go towards the presenter, commentator route. And I went up to my boss and I said, look, I've got this idea of a golf podcast. There aren't many out there.
Yep.
And I basically pitched it to him. And he might not like me saying this, but his first question to me, this was 7 years ago. His first question to me was, "What's a podcast?"
Yeah.
And I explained it to him. And then the next day he actually came up to me and he went, "Josh, I want to thank you." I went, "Oh, why?" He goes, "I listened to my first podcast yesterday and I really, really liked it." He loves history. He loves war history. So he listened to I think it was a World War II history podcast, and he loved it. So did a pilot for the podcast and with Jamie Spencer and I think Henny.
Yeah.
And it went well.
Okay.
And we kind of went from there really with the podcast, I guess. So, but yeah, I did that for like 5-6 years and I still wasn't a presenter. I did nothing in front of the camera, nothing. So the podcast, if I didn't do the podcast, I wouldn't be doing this now. So it gave me a great, foundation in how to use my voice and how to present and how to ask questions like you're doing now, like this, basically.
Yeah.
So it's weird me being this side, by the way.
Yeah.
It's weird me being this side because I'm always your side. But and then I love doing the podcast. It was great fun. It's this. It's hard work.
It is, and it's not just this conversation. It'll be the interactions. It'll be the cancellations. No offense.
Yeah.
It'll be because that happens. It's just loads out, and then the scheduling, the post-production, putting things on Instagram.
Editing takes a long time.
Yeah, it does. If you want to get it right, some will say, "Oh, let's just record this and then just throw it out." Well, sometimes people don't want to listen to an hour, and this software is pretty cool. You can give a few secrets away now that we haven't said before, but you can take pauses out, you can take ums and ahs, you can cut bits and pieces that just are fluff, as you know, and it can take an hour's podcast down to 40 minutes or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mistakes, word whistles, etc. So yeah, you're right. It does take time.
It's nearly impossible, by the way, to do a recording and just put it out. That doesn't happen.
No, I don't think it.
Even though people might think that happens, that does not happen. Doesn't exist. It's a unicorn. Doesn't happen.
Exactly. And I have seen and heard podcasts that do that, and I just think, did you not listen to that?
I know. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. Because it's we'll talk now for an hour, and then I'll go back and listen to it for another hour.
Yeah.
But it'll be slowly because I'll be stopping, starting. So yeah, you feel the pain.
Yeah.
I'd imagine the difference ever so slightly is that let me ask you a question. Were you drip fed guests, bearing in mind it was a Sky Sports golf podcast?
No. So
really? Okay.
So this was the thing. I would say for the first 4 or 5 years, I presented the podcast, edited the podcast, did all the social media. I got all the guests. I did all the payment for the guests. I did everything myself, which made it even more. And I was doing that as well as my job, as well as still being a junior in production. So it was really good, but it was hard. And it's not just, as you said, it's not just this day we're recording. I'm prepping 2-3 days before because I've got to see what's going on in the world of golf. I've got to watch the end of tournaments. I've got to hear interviews and take little bits from everywhere. So your head's always spinning when you're doing a weekly podcast, like the one I was doing. Like it's almost like a news roundup thing. I'm always on the go. I was always on the go with it. So it was very rewarding when they were good, but I was tired.
Yeah. How did you come up with questions? Did you like to talk about? I mean, I've listened to a number, but there was over 300 of the ones that you did.
Yeah,
maybe 350. It's too many to research.
But
I found some of your questions really interesting. Was it something that you found came naturally to you, or did you really have to think, what would I want to be asked if I was on a podcast, rather than the same old questions that you hear in interviews time after time?
Yeah, I like to think outside the box a little. Look, there are some standard questions you ask in certain interviews. So For instance, when I do a winner's interview, the first question usually is, how do you feel? Like, what are the emotions you're feeling right now? Because that's just a natural kind of, unless something weird happens, that's kind of a question. But with things like this, I do a lot of research on when I do interviews, on course, anything, podcasts. I research a lot because it's good to have a load of ammo. For whatever you need. You might run out. The person you might talk to might be doing 6-word answers.
Yeah.
If you've only got 5 questions, you're absolutely stuck after 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So you got to have loads of ammo and loads of research. So I would know some stuff on them anyway, but then there'd be loads of stuff. I just keep researching, look at their social media, look at their Twitter account, speak to other players as well about them. Like I would say like, oh, I'm speaking to Marcel Seam. Do you know much about him? Have you got any good stories about him that people listening might not know? And then when I bring it up with Marcel or whoever, they'll go, oh, where did you hear about that? Then that's because at the end of the day, I'm basically a fan. I'm not a professional golfer. I'm playing to 20 handicap at the moment. but I'm just, and it's weird because when I do those interviews, I'm really into it as well. And I'm listened and I'm intrigued as to what they're going to say. So, yeah, I like doing loads of research. I mean, I've learned off like Tim Barter. Like Tim Barter, I cannot tell you how much research that guy does. It is incredible how much he writes down. And like I would watch him and I'm like, right, that's how you do an interview. And I take a lot from Tim. And I have so many notes on player, and I would never use 90% of them. And the other thing is like, let's say I ask a question. A really important thing is, and I've learned this from the start, listen to what they're saying, because they might come up with some gold in the answer, and then you can ask another question that you didn't have written down off the back of it. So I see so many people who do interviews, they've got set questions in their head, and the person's given them an absolute gold, some gold dust in an answer, and they haven't followed up. And they just asked us about something else. So that was one thing I really learned, was to listen to answers all the time. So, but yeah, research. There's no ChatGPT can only do so much. Although back then there wasn't ChatGPT.
Exactly.
I feel like I was cheated a little bit. I had to do so much work. Yeah, there's no easy way around it. Hard work going into questions, basically.
Absolutely. And I know one of the things I threw at you earlier was, and it wasn't to sort of talk about who was a better personality than others, but is there someone when you look back and you think, do you know what, I didn't expect that. That was a really good interview. That he or she presented themselves in a way that I didn't even think would be on the cards.
I tell you what, the first one, even though he's world famous, and I hadn't really met him properly, was Butch Harmon. I remember the first, I think it was when Lowry won at Portrush. Was that 2019?
Yeah.
I want to say that. I think that was the first podcast I possibly did at an event, and it was at the Open, and it was me, Andrew Coulthard, Radar, and Butch came in, and Butch spoke for an hour and told stories, and all our mouths were just wide open. Radar was asking questions. I didn't have to do anything. He was like, Butch was telling stories about Tiger, and I was so fascinated. I was like a fan there. I was like a fan. That was the first time I was like, that was the first one I was like, wow, this is cool. I'm sitting here surrounded by these 3 guys who I've kind of watched, and Butch, who's like arguably the best coach in the world, telling stories about Tiger, and like that was really cool. Even though I knew Butch was Butch, it's still he's got something about him, Butch, when he tells a story. It's just really fascinating, and like things I'd never heard of. There were things I'd never heard of about Tiger. Like he was telling him how he does his breathing techniques because he learned it from the military. He was talking about all the different kinds of shots he would play, and it was properly fascinating. Like, yeah, I still love Butch. He's still great. Yeah, Butch, I would say. And also, I tell you what, at the Ryder Cup in Italy, I chatted with Faldo.
Okay.
And that was the first time I'd met Nick, Sir Nick. Sorry, Nick, if you're listening, Sir Nick. And he just, again, telling amazing stories. And he got really emotional on like Seve. He always gets emotional on Seve.
He does. Yes, he does.
All the time. He got emotional. I think he cried 3 times in the hour.
Right.
But again, it was just like Faldo, for me, growing up, like early 90s, like late 80s, 90s, he was the guy.
Absolutely.
And I can remember my dad had this Nick Faldo video, which I told Nick about, actually. And yeah, I used to watch that video all the time. He was in that Pringle sweaters and stuff like that. And it was just, again, it was a little bit like, this is cool. I'm interviewing Sir Nick Faldo here.
No.
But that was really great. Again, just stories. I love it when old golfers tell stories. I'm there. I'm invested on things like that because they're things that you and I don't know. You know, that they can experience.
Yeah.
And they're telling the thousands of people, however many people listening. And it's just, I love it. I love that. I would say those two, maybe. If I think of more, I'll tell you in a minute. But
you've interviewed a heck of a lot of guests, haven't you, on the Sky Sports podcast?
Yeah.
And I would imagine that it's probably, well, he's almost a who's who in golf, quite frankly. So you've been up close and personal to a lot of these guys. And of course, when you changed career path, but within the family, the brand of Sky Sports, I'd imagine that put you in good stead. Familiar face. Oh, it's Josh. Yeah. Do you miss the podcasting, or are you very much loving what you're doing?
No, I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I never take my job for granted at all. I know I am really damn lucky to be doing what I do. Like, there are loads of people who'd love to do this. And I really enjoy every day I go into work for doing whatever. I really love it. Of course I miss the podcast. It was a thing. It was like kind of my baby a little bit, and I genuinely love doing it every week. And just chatting for an hour to whoever came in and playing Ponder the Pro and things like that. That was really good fun. It was really good fun. But I kind of felt like it was time. I've done it for like 6-7 years. I kind of felt like it was time. I don't know if I'll do something else again. The problem is now including yours, which is great. There's loads of podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's also, and loads of them are good. It's finding the time in the week to listen to them all.
Yeah.
There's only so many hours I've got in the week.
I know. And I thought about this, sort of coming from a business background. I thought, if to put a podcast out is great, but you've now got to steal time from somebody else's podcast that's obviously still doing very successfully. So it's really going to take a lot of work. And we've been doing this for coming up for a year now.
Yeah.
And it's going very well. We're enjoying.
You guys are doing great.
Yeah, I mean, we've so my background is, and I've said this a load of times, so I won't bore you with it, but I sponsored a tour pro guy called Ben Evans.
Yeah, I know Ben. Yeah.
And I sponsored him, and I kind of went to a few events, met a few people, so kind of got to know a little bit about how things work and introduced to a few golfers around. So that helped to introduce some of the guests that we've had so far to sort of get off the ground running, which is quite good. But building it up is quite difficult. We plan on keep going, and we're trying to diversify, get out there to a few events, etc. But
great.
I mean, thinking about really something you just said, actually, which just sort of took me off on a bit of a tangent, but I wanted to pick up
tangents.
on.
I love them. Love them.
You met a lot of guys and girls on the podcast. You now segued into live TV. Yeah. How big a change was that?
Well, you can't muck up on live TV. Podcast, you've got the safety net of it being recorded, so you can do whatever you want as many times as you like. But you know what? And I think that's what I kind of worried about a little bit, is that I would either freeze or not, I would say, or swear. I swear all the time. And that was what I was worried about maybe the most. And I actually, when I knew I was going to be doing a bit of live presenting and stuff like that, I emailed Ewan Murray, our lead presenter, and David Livingston, who people don't know, young people. He was the presenter for Sky in the 90s and early 2000s. And I just asked for some advice, and I did say to them, look, I'm worried about swearing. What do I do? And David Livingston genuinely said, he goes, you'll be amazed, you just won't swear. Right. I went, that's no advice. And you know what? He was right. You just don't swear. And I don't know what it is, if it's, you just know you're on live TV, and I just don't say the F-bomb or whatever. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. So I've been so far, let's cross our fingers, so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quite a big jump. And it was weird how I got it, because I'd done a few things in front of camera, but not live. I'd done like a few features and things like that. And then one Saturday afternoon, I was having lunch with my then girlfriend. I got a phone call from one of my producers, and he said, look, our presenter's called in ill. I'm really stuck. I've got no one. Could you come in and present the live golf?
Wow. And
I was like, well, yeah, I said. And I put the phone down. I said, we've got to go.
Yeah.
I said, I've got to find some clothes. I've got to do some prep, because I wasn't working that weekend. So I didn't really know what was going on. So I had to go in for an hour and like just super prep. And then basically, again, I was thrown in, completely thrown in. But I think I had Simon Holmes as my guest. who'd been doing it for years. So that was
Yeah.
great. I had Nick, who was a producer who I've known for ages.
Yeah.
And I had to wear an earpiece properly for the first time, listen to a producer, the director, the PA counting in my ear, other people. So I was thrown into the lion's den there, but I think I did okay. I think I did okay. So, and then I did the next day as well. So I did like the 2 days in a row, and it was all right. It was okay. And very nerve-wracking, really nerve-wracking. So, but kind of went from there really. So, but I was still doing the podcast at that time.
Right.
So, but doing the podcast was it gave me an amazing foundation for doing what I do now. There's no way I'd be doing that what I do now without the podcast. There's no way. So it was great.
So what does a year? Well, yeah, maybe. What's your schedule like? Are you involved at some point in every single week on tour, or is it Josh, you're doing this week?
Yeah.
So right.
It's the latter. So basically, my boss gives me my rota. He does everyone's rotas, all the presenters. A lot. That's hard work. But he gives me mine, and then I don't work every week because there's too many presenters and commentators. He has to share it out.
Yep.
So I have my schedule, and I think I'm doing 9 weeks at events, doing interviews, in-round interviews. They're all DP World Tour events this year. I'm doing going to Cron again. Well, I'd be interested to that was horrific what happened in Cron, Montana. That hotel fight. I would walk past that hotel every day, or from the hotel to the course. I know exactly where that is. So that was horrific hearing that. But then I'm at the Irish again, which we might come on to, but National Opens are becoming my favourite thing. I think and that's why the DP World Tour is so brilliant. National Opens. You look at Canada now on the PJ Tour.
Yeah.
That is an amazing event now. That when Nick Taylor won that and robbed it from Tommy, that was amazing atmosphere.
Yeah.
But doing the Irish, I'm doing Austria, I'm doing France, I'm doing loads of National Opens this year. So I'm doing those, just spread out across the year. And then I'll also be doing the voiceover at Sky. So you'll hear my voice coming back from a break now and again. I'm basically, we call it continuity. And I would maybe do some promos for other sports to promote those other sports across the channels. Yeah. And then, so we're basically on the world feed for the DP World Tour, but we have to take breaks at Sky. So for those 3 minutes that we're away, the golf is still going on. There's still live golf going on. So when we come back from a break, I might do some promos, and then my producer's got to catch up with the live golf that you've basically missed. We might not see every shot that's been shown, because it might be just a drive off the 8th tee by Angel Hidalgo that's in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
You don't need to see that at home. So we'll catch up. We'll show some the highlights that you've missed.
Yeah.
I'll talk over those, and then we'll then catch up with the live golf and be on the world feed, and then I'll throw to the commentary team who are there on site. So that's what I do for voiceover, and I'm doing similar for PGA Tour, but they're dotted out throughout the year. So, it's a variety of things that I do for Sky across the year, but it's all there's golf on all the time. If some weeks you have 5-6 events on, I'm I love golf, but sometimes it's always in the middle. It's always like the week after the Open. Yeah, you've had a mad busy week. There's 5 events the next week. So, but it's a good varied schedule that I have, and I'm so fortunate to be able to travel, to amazing places in Europe. It's pretty cool.
I mean, the team is. I said this to John, and I have to compliment, because it seems that the team is a family. You've got Incy, you've got Radar, you've got Nick. He's just slotted into that role from being a professional golfer, ridiculous.
By the way, I remember seeing Nick's green screen or his practice. I genuinely thought he'd been presenting for 10 years. Mad.
Right.
Mad. He was an absolute natural. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, what he does at the Masters, because a lot of that is live.
Yeah.
And I sit there, listen to him, I think, as a sort of judgment on a public speaker, I think, wow, it's so smooth. You don't mess your words up at all. There's no ums and ahs. It's just very, very professional.
I know. He's
knowing
sick.
that there's millions, but you all are. It's a great watch. It's a great listen, and it's no wonder that Sky Sports is doing so well. Especially there's football, there's golf, there's everything. It's a beast, isn't it? But great team, and everyone seems to be loving what they do. We had a great chat with Incy a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking a little bit about live golf. She prefers it actually to recorded stuff. I suppose it's horses for courses, isn't it?
You know what? I agree with her. Now that I've done more live, because you just react.
Right.
You just react. And I think when you record a podcast, because you know you've got the safety cushion
That's what
of
she
it
said.
being
Yeah.
you almost relax too much.
Yeah.
And you know you can muck up and do it again. Whereas live, you know you've got to be on it.
Yeah.
You can't really make any mistakes or forget things really. So I know exactly what she means. I know what she
Yeah.
means. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, she said exactly the same. I mean,
yeah.
I was going to ask you about your golf, but I think you've answered that.
Oh
Let's
God,
let's move on. Do
I
you
don't
get to
mind.
play though? Do you actually still get to play, media stuff in and around events, or is it
I
just
play
purely?
Yeah, I mean, if I play a few media days. The thing is, so if I go to an event, more often than not, we leave on the Sunday night
Hmm.
to come back home.
Yeah.
Look, if we were to say to Monday, we could probably play the course, the morning after. And I know there's people in production do that, and a few other people will stay on and then come home the next day. So yeah, some people do that, and I played Portrush this year after the Open. Was it Portrush this year? Hang
Yeah.
on. It was Portrush,
It
wasn't
was.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good story. So we had pretty decent weather, I seem to remember, at Portrush this year. And then on the Monday, I played with Andy as a producer, another Josh, both Spurs fans, and played with Trey Niven
Oh
as
yeah.
well. We played
Yeah.
on the morning, and it was terrible weather. Like the weather turned. Anyway, we got to the first tee, and it's a Monday. The media day after the Open is busy, like
Mm.
from 7 a.m. through to whenever it's fully booked.
Right.
Anyway, there were people in front of us, and then I noticed that they were having pictures on the first tee, but there were
Okay.
5 of them. I was like, "What? Hang on, you can't play a 5 ball. Well, you can if you want. I don't actually care."
Yeah.
And then I noticed the 5th person was Tom Watson. I was like, "Okay." And they teed off, and he was watching them. I went, "Oh, that's cool. He must be part of their group." Anyway, they walked off, and Tom stayed there. And I then realised Tom was doing this for every group. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to have to tee off in front of Tom Watson. And I am playing some of the worst golf any human's ever seen." So we went and had a photo with him, and he was really nice. And we were
Yeah.
talking, playing what we do. And it was funny. So in the group, Trey's obviously pro. Josh plays off about 6. He's a good golfer. Andy plays off about 18, and I'm playing off, I don't know. So anyway, we were all looking at each other except Trey, because Trey's fine. Tom's watching this, by the way. I think Trey went first, obviously, and he striped his. Then I was next. No, Andy was next. Andy absolutely is amazing. I was like, "Oh no." And I was up next. I hit the best drive probably of the year.
Fantastic.
Absolutely smoked it down the first. And then the funny thing is that Josh, who was last, who hits his driver really well, he topped it 30 yards in front of him. And then Tom gave him some tips for a couple of minutes. Tom was lovely, but
Yeah.
that was really nervy. That was really nerve-wracking. But that was cool. So yeah, look, now and again I play some courses and stuff like that, and it's finding the time, because like a lot of the time we'll get to an event on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then I might even have to do some interviews Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday we've got production meetings, and I've got more things to do. Like you don't really have time. I think at the Open a few years ago when I played Ely, which is one of my favourite courses. That place is stunning. I love links golf now. As I've got older, links golf is like my favourite thing. It's so much fun. It's
Yeah.
so fun, links golf.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then when I played Scottish Open a few years ago in the Pro-Am, not obviously in the Scottish Open, in the Pro-Am,
Sure. Yeah.
when I played like Crail and Kilspindie and all those courses around there, all those links courses, they're amazing. I love them so much. So, and obviously there's loads I've not played, but yeah, they're those. I've got Hankley Common not far from me now. I know it's not links, but again, Hankley it's an amazing course. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Not when you're playing terrible though.
Well, yeah, no course is good
No
experience.
courses. No, you're right. Yeah.
Especially if I mean, you probably haven't, but if you've paid, 200-300 quid for a green fee, which happens
Oh, I have. Yeah, of course.
and then you play bad, you're like, oh, why?
It's like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
I know exactly that feeling. That's not a nice feeling. I did that, played, I'm a member of a society as well. And like, we've played some amazing places, and we played Hankley, and
Right.
I think it was, for the day, it was 200 quid.
Yeah.
And the weather was so bad.
Right.
Like, it was soaking wet. And I think we have a rear gun. There's 30 of us, and there's a rear gunner whoever comes last. I think I shot 21 points. I was so miserable afterwards. And amazingly, I didn't come last. Amazingly. But it was bad. I think I came back in 7 points. It was awful.
And when it goes, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's hard to come back when and the wheels have completely fallen
Oh,
off.
honestly, yeah,
And
I
then you
know.
go and birdie the 18th, and everything's well in the world, and you
I
want to
know,
like
and they're like, right, where are we playing next?
exactly walk in with your chest puffed
Yeah.
out. Yeah, we could talk about the mental side of golf, I think, forever,
Oh,
couldn't we? But yeah, I mean, with regards to you've just said there's golf on every single week.
hmm.
Do you think golf's in a good place right now? Professional golf?
How long we got for this? I mean, you
Two
know
minutes.
what? You know what I'm gonna say? And I've said this, to be fair, I have said this for 2 years. I don't know.
Right.
The reason I'm saying I don't know is because all the powers that be are so quiet at the moment. I'm talking here mainly about PJ Tour, DP World, and Live.
Yes.
That's basically what I'm talking about, and what's happening in the global game
Yeah.
that way. Like we obviously there was, we always at one point all of a sudden, what's his name turned up on Golf Channel or whatever, like saying, "Oh, we're going to do a deal." That was like 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
we've not heard nothing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's going on, and I don't know why. Look, I'm assuming it's to do with money, as with most things in whatever
Yeah.
in sport at the moment. It seems
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's to do with money and a bit of power struggle and things like that. But like the game is obviously the men's game, sorry, I should say, is a worse place for it. I love watching Bryson. I don't, some people don't like him for whatever reason. His social media stuff is off the charts good.
Mm,
Like when he
mm,
was doing that over the house in the summer, that's
yeah.
all everyone was talking about.
Yeah. I
But
know.
that, he does some great, and I love watching him play. Like he's different, and I've said this on the podcast, and I think this about sport in general. I love Mavericks.
Yes.
I
Okay.
love maybe that's why Gaza was my hero. He was a maverick. I love people in sport who think outside the box, who are
Mm,
unorthodox, and he's unorthodox. And when he bulked out, and he was, at the Arnold Palmer when he was doing that with his,
yeah.
his arms trying to
Yeah.
get over the water. He's an entertainer, and I like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Obviously him there, and look, there's not many other golfers on Live that I would go, you know what, I kind of miss him on the PGA Tour. I really like Joaquin Neiman. I think Joaquin's a brilliant golfer. Tyson's really entertaining. DJ, I'm not sure he cares anymore. I mean, obviously then that comes back to Brooks with what's happened in the last week or so. Genuinely don't know what's going to happen to him. Like, I don't know how they go about that, because he's obviously got to reapply for membership, but
Yeah.
are they going to allow him back on? Like,
Yeah.
surely they can't just. Well, I don't know. It's not happened before. Well, not with someone with his stature who's
Yes.
got the majors. Like,
Yes.
I don't know what they do. That's hard. I'm going to say that's very hard. What they're going to have to do with Koepka. I know Rory said he wants him back, but there's going to be 3 times as many golfers who are going to say, look, Brooks knew what he was doing. Why should he be able to come back? And I get that viewpoint as well. Look, DP World Tour is doing great. I would say. I
Yep.
think there's loads of innovations on the DP World Tour with different swings, which I really like. Loads of great young talent coming through DP World Tour, especially like Martin Kuvra and Angel Iora, those two. Angel Iora, I think, could be an absolute superstar.
Right.
He is unbelievable. Kuvra just went off a little bit at the end of the year, but he's going to be really good as well.
Marco Penge, of course.
Who?
Marco Penge, of course. Lost him too early, unfortunately.
Look, as much as I love the DP World Tour, giving 10 cards away, I think's a bit much.
Yeah.
It's just, I think 5 max, maybe 3. Like 10 feels a bit much. Look, obviously, there's players that are going to come back. Jesper Svensson's come back. I love Jesper. The guy's
Yeah.
a sensational good golfer. And there were some who tried Campillo, didn't like it. So you're going to get that as well. I don't know. Do you like Live? Do you watch Live? I don't care, by the way, if you do. It doesn't
Yeah.
bother me.
No. Watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these people that is because I'm not paid by anyone to be particularly loyal
No.
to anything. Golf is golf. I like watching good golf.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't been to a live event when they have it over in was it JCB?
Yeah,
the UK?
JCB, yeah. It was a thingy before that by me, and I used to live in St Albans. I can't remember. Anyway, can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
where is it? It wasn't.
I think we can just see possibly. Oh, I've forgotten the name of the course.
They had it in yeah. Yeah, but we went to the ladies PIF event, actually PIF
Yeah,
Global, which was quite good. Not the same as you can imagine.
yeah,
I am interested in going because there's a lot of decent golfers there.
I know.
A lot of
There are.
decent golfers now. When it first
They got
started,
Elvis Smiley, by the way. I saw the
yeah,
other day. That kid's brilliant.
yeah,
And Tom McKibben.
yeah,
I don't know why they've gone. Look, I'm thinking because they might think, look, I can make a load of money in like 2 years, 3 years. and I've still got youth on my side, and I can
Yeah.
come. Which look, I get a little bit. I get it. You know,
It's a mess though, isn't it? By
of
what
course it's a
they've
mess.
It's really it's what they call what do they call that? That's the word for it when they're trying to not obstruct. It's a certain word I'm trying to think of.
No one's winning.
No
That's the
one's
thing.
winning. Yeah.
No one's winning in all of this at the moment. In the men's game, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No one's winning at all, and it's just I personally I don't care if people like live or not. It doesn't bother me.
Mm.
I don't like the fact there's no jeopardy.
Right.
I don't like the fact there's no cut. It does in sport there should be jeopardy. Like in football, you got relegation. I know in American sports there isn't like that, but you got to have that jeopardy to have that like. Again, I'm not a sportsman, so I don't I don't know from a professional side what it's like. But you've got to have that in the back of the mind that like,
Yeah.
oh, I might lose my card.
Yeah.
I understand they lose their cards on live, by the way, sorry. But on a week to week basis, you gotta have some kind of competition or something there. It just I think that's what it is for me. And the team thing, I don't know, it's weird, the teams thing for me.
Yeah.
In just every week, and like some of the merch looks quite apparently all the kids love the merch. Apparently a load of the kids, when it was at Centurion, apparently all the stuff was selling out.
Right.
So all the kids loved the merch. So yeah, the team thing's a little bit weird for me, I would say. But yeah, it's the no cut thing. I think that's why I also don't like some of the PJ Tour events, by the way, that have no cuts. They definitely interest me less because there's just no jeopardy there.
Yeah.
There's no jeopardy, and like you can go out, have a nice 4 rounds, come last, and get paid pretty well. You know, it's just I don't know. Sports should have jeopardy for me, and yeah, I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see what they do if they change it. They obviously change it to 72 holes to try and get world ranking points, which they kind of need to because the likes of Rahm, Tyrrell, they're slipping down the rankings. So I know John's in a few of the majors. You know, I mean. Tyrrell did amazing to get into the Ryder Cup team the way he did. You know, that guy's a sensational golfer. Yeah, the answer is I don't know with the world of golf, men's side anyway. The women's side's doing pretty well. There's some amazing youngsters coming through. South Koreans at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are doing really well. And you've got Lottie Woad, who was just, I mean, she arguably could have won Golfer of the Year. I know Rory went and did what he did. But Lottie was amazing last year. Like winning your first event as a pro, after winning the week before as an amateur. Like she's in the Solheim team as a lock, you know.
Yeah.
So and Nelly didn't win at all last year, which was kind of really strange. Like, she won 6 times, I think, the year before. So yeah, and yeah, Solheim this year, which is going to be really good. It's in Holland, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not the international. That's where KLN is. I can't remember.
No,
but,
there's a lot of talent around there, isn't there? And they've got to be looking over their shoulders because years ago it was all about the short game. Kind of still is, but you talk to a lot of coaches now. They go, "No, you just need to be able to hit it 300 plus yards, and if you haven't got that in your locker, forget turning pro."
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
What if you can get it up and down from anywhere within 150? Like you just won't. You should. But if you can hit 350, which most young kids will, then you've got relatively straight. Then
although the funny thing is me listening to lots of like Tony Johnson and people in commentary, they do say some of the short games of pros are terrible now.
Yeah,
that's because of what you just said. That's because they're taught just to hit it so far. So I think they just don't really concentrate on the short game side of it. They obviously do practice. But yeah, for whatever reason. But that's why Scotty Scheffler's world number 1. That guy's short game is. How many times did he hole out?
The British Open where you weren't Portrush, I was watching and I thought, oh yeah, look at that putt, it's gone in, and you almost know it's going in, don't you, before it's gone in?
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I know.
His distance control is even better than his putting.
Pin high every time. It's like Tiger. Tiger was pin high every time. He'd do that at the Masters. That's what Jack always say. Jack Nicklaus would say, get pin high, give yourself a chance at the Masters. But Tiger would do it in most events. Scotty does it. The guy, I still don't think he gets the credit, you know. I said this 2 years ago when Scheffler was dying to win. And I remember me and Zane Scotland. Zane Scotland came up with some weird thing. He like listed amazing golfers.
Yeah.
And I think he said the only golfer that was better than Scheffler was Ben Hogan. But he had people like Saracen on there and Trevino and Jack. And he thought Scheffler was better. And I kind of laughed at the time. But like Scheffler's now putting up numbers, which no one's close to, by the way. Rory's not far off. You know what? That's kind of one thing I'd want this year. Someone else to get in the mix.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just, look, Scotty obviously doesn't win every week. He doesn't. No. But I don't think he was outside the top 10 since April or something like that.
If he's there or thereabouts on Sunday or Saturday evening, you can pretty much guarantee he's going to be either winning it or right up there.
I know. I would just like 1, maybe 2 more. Like this is Tommy's year, by the way.
Yeah.
This is Tommy's year. Like that win on the PJ Tour. The Open this year is next to where he used to live
Yes.
in Hillside.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be, I think Tommy's year, and I think Oberg as well this year. I just have a feeling as well. He had a quieter, I know he won Genesis at the start of the year, but I think Oberg's going to come back this year as well. I kind of like Cam Young this year. I always thought he was a bit of a choker,
Right.
but when he won and then Ryder Cup, he was brilliant at the Ryder Cup, Cam Young, I thought.
Yeah.
So I think he might be back. But it would be just nice. Be nice to see people challenge Scotty a bit more this year.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But I think Marco's got the game to potentially get a win under his belt in his rookie year on the PGA Tour.
Without a doubt.
I really
That guy's
do.
so talented. He's so
Something
talented.
else.
His putting's great, obviously driver.
His mentality is so on it. He's so, and his team is it's something to behold. Actually, we had him on earlier, and I've met him a couple of times. He's down from this neck of the woods, actually, in Sussex originally. Humble guy, really humble as well.
I've got to know Marco really well, and he's such a genuinely nice guy. And his caddy Max is brilliant as well. Max deserves loads of credit.
Yeah.
Alex Buckner is coach. He's a coach down here near me. And I speak to Alex all the time about Marco and how he's doing and all of that. And Marco, even in practice round, he is on it. He's on it. He's so focused, as you say, Marco. Like he really knows what he wants. And I mean, he only just made his card the year before in Genesis in Korea. Like he only just made it, which is amazing.
And then he had to wait a few weeks, didn't he?
Funny game.
He was sort of suspended for a bit. Unbelievable, 3 wins, and he was suspended for a few weeks, so he had to sort of come out and play catch up. Crazy. It's funny you talk about Zane. We're talking to Zane in the next couple of weeks, supposed to be yesterday, but our diaries didn't align. He's a great guy, doing amazing things out in Dubai. Yeah, he's good golfer
there now. Good golfer. Loves talk to him about the golf swing. He could talk you until the end of the week if you want about the golf swing. But he loves it. He really loves it. And Zane coached me a few times, and I learned a lot from Zane.
Yeah.
So and he watches golf all the time.
Yeah,
he'll be great. He'll be a great chap.
He's given us an agenda actually. I said, what do you want to talk about? He went, this would be good talking. I thought, yeah, you're right. They would be. So yeah, looking forward to that. So what's next for you? I mean, let's not talk about a career that hasn't even finished yet, but let's rephrase the question, reframe it. Is there any, because I said this to you yesterday, is there anything else you'd like to dabble in or like to achieve after the golf thing?
Well, I tell you what I want to achieve whilst I'm in the golf thing is, so an interesting story. When I was in production in 2020, my rota came out at the start of the year, and I was down to go to Augusta. I'd never worked at Augusta in the 10 years that I'd been at Sky. And so I was down to go. And then obviously COVID hit. And so we didn't go. But the other thing is that the Monday after the Masters, because there used to be a big team at Sky would be on site. And my boss would get given a tee time, but he would give it out to someone in production to play on the Monday.
Right.
So loads of people throughout the years had played, sent pictures and stuff like that. And I think 2020 was going to be my year to play. It was unbelievable that then COVID hit and I didn't go, and I've still not been to the Masters. And I always remind my boss, I say, remember, I've still got one in the bank. I've still got a tea time in the bank at Augusta on the Monday. I always keep reminding him. But that would be a great thing to go to Augusta. I've still not been. So I would love to do that. And have you been to Augusta at all?
Oh,
no.
There's not many that have, is there?
Everyone always says how steep it is. Yeah, all the hills, from 10 and from the 10th especially. Everyone just says, you just don't realise how hilly it is. So all of that experience, the pimento cheese, although I've had pimento cheese, I really don't like it. but all the food there and just everything, the crowds and, the respect that they give the golfers and all of that. I'd love to still be able to do that within golf. Outside of golf, I don't know. You know what? You also asked me, what would I be doing if I didn't do this job? Obviously different sports I love. I love food. Food and cooking is my other passion.
Okay.
I've always been cool to own a food truck. I don't know why. I've always would love to own a food truck. I mean, obviously not becoming a millionaire owning a food truck, but I think I'd absolutely love it.
Right.
And food now on social media, on TikTok, YouTube, boom. Food's gone off crazy in the last 2 years and all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I do in the food truck. I'm still not sure what I do. So, but there's so many things have been invented and thought of now that, you know, in food trucks. But yeah, maybe something to do in food. But I'm not giving up on golf presenting just yet.
Good.
Not
Good.
yet.
It hasn't really been that long in the grand scheme of things, isn't it? Because you
I've been
before.
4 years. I've
Yeah.
been in front of the camera. I've really not been doing it that long. Obviously, with
Yeah.
the podcast, roughly coming on to 10,
Yeah.
9, 10 years. Yeah, and I'm still. I guess I still call myself like kind of the junior in the team because I've been doing it the least compared to everyone else, and age-wise, probably I am as well. Although Nick's the same age as me, so yeah, it's a little bit wild. And I like do other stuff. I like do challenge tour commentary or hotel planner tour commentary,
Okay.
and I did a few bits kind of outside of Sky, which is really cool. And yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, at the moment, I'm still absolutely loving what I do.
Yeah, well, it comes across, it does come across. And, I speak on behalf of Chris and myself. We use a lot of the way you presented yourself and structured the podcast and the questions in the way that we've kind of been learning, etc. I mean, you have to bring your own personality
Yeah,
to anything you do, but
yeah.
just in terms of this particular environment and remit. So speak on behalf of both. So thank you very much for what you've done with the golf podcast and helping many people like us do what we do even now.
Don't be silly. You're way too kind. Thank you. I tell you the thing I was going to say, and I forgot to say earlier. I remember the first podcast I did and the second one. Before that, so I've never really liked my voice. I still don't. I still think I still have a bit of a lisp. I had a
Right.
pretty big lisp years ago, and I went and saw a speech person to try and help me, and they gave me a few training exercises. And then when I did the first and second podcast, I spoke. It was awful. I was really trying to open and I didn't sound like me.
Right.
And then I realized, just be me. Just try and talk like me.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing to say, and I know a lot of people say that, but yeah, the first two are terrible. And then the other thing is that like I try and keep things lighthearted, like you have been doing as well, because when people listen, I kind of think they want a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Life can be pretty crappy sometimes, and I think people just want an hour away, have some fun, have a bit of banter between the guests or whatever. And I kind of do that in the podcast. I try and do a bit when I'm presenting as well, just to try and I think it helps the guests as well. I think the guests probably enjoy it as well to have something a bit fun to do. So that's why I did Ponder the Pro, as well. So I listen to loads of other podcasts. I listen to loads of football podcasts and Football Ramble and Totally Football Show, and they're all fun. They're all really fun. Like those guys I've listened to for years, and I've taken little bits from them on how they present and how they structure things as well. So it's it's an interesting way of doing it. But I just wanted people to enjoy it really, and still do when I'm presenting. I just want people to go, oh, you know what, that's good, and I really enjoy the program. That's what I want.
There's some funny experiences I suppose they are experiences that you've had in the Open. What's it called? Oh, my mind's gone blank.
The
in the
Open
booth.
Zone.
Yes, the Open Zone. That's it. Some of those shots, fantastic.
Do you want the one in the weather?
Yeah.
The one in Liverpool where Brian Harmon won, and then we did that Sunday night show, and then a monsoon of biblical proportions came in. You know what? That was easily the craziest show I've done, but the most fun.
Yeah.
Because it was an hour, and this rain was coming in sideways, and it was windy. Things were being blown over. You couldn't see all the camera people behind. They were in Macs and jackets, and we were just dripping with rain. And then Howler tried to hit a golf ball with an old club, and it just went straight into the face of the bunker. And I had so many people text me say that's one of the funniest things they've ever seen. Yeah. So I don't, and we did that live. I'm like, again, I don't know how I didn't swear. I don't know how I didn't fall over laughing. I had Simon Holmes there with us, and that was so fun, but just mad. That weather was crazy. It was so crazy, but it was really fun.
Weren't you? I'm sure it was you when Marco Pence was hitting some out there, and you were like, I'm sure we picked you up on the camera going, wow, or someone did in the crowd. Like,
that was me. That was this
you.
year.
I'm sure it was you. This year.
And Marco came in, and I know Marco really well.
He sent it today.
Yeah, I just said to him, because there were loads of people watching. It was a lovely day.
Yeah.
I said to him beforehand, I said, look, I know you don't want to go too hard. I said, do you mind hitting a few hard? Yeah. He went, yeah, for sure. So we spoke a little bit, and then I said, can you send? I said, do us a stock driver.
Yes.
And so we hit the sound of Marco's driver, and he went, and I went, whoa. And then I said, can you send one?
Yeah.
Right. And he sent one, and the crowd just gasped, and it went forever.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a 335 carry, something like that. And I just went, whoa. even I went, whoa, that was
And you'd
like,
have seen a lot, yeah.
yeah. And like, it really like, and he's built like a guy who just hits it really far, Marco. That was really cool. We had the Højgaard twins come in who were really good fun. And who else came in? Dee Burmester, Stenson. I love doing those. They're really good because, again, it's kind of chilled out, playing a bit of a game, trying to hit the target out, 150, whatever. And we show them a few bits on the touchscreen. They're really good fun. They're really good fun, those kind of things. And I think the crowds will always appreciate those as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sky, golf, podcasts, YouTube, and all the social media stuff. For all the negative, there is one of the good things that we see now is we're getting up close and personal, aren't we, to a lot of cool stuff that perhaps we wouldn't be able to see before. So from that perspective, and what the team at the DP World Tour do around the world, bringing in different kind of people and arrangements and of course Sky Sports, I'm presuming that's your bag as opposed to the DP World Tour. Is that right? You kind of get your area and you say, right, we're going to do this.
For do you mean for the Open? Sorry.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the planning that goes into Opens. It's amazing the work that goes on behind the scenes of like where you're allowed the range, where cameras can go, all of that. It's been going on for months already for next year. It's been going on for months.
Yeah.
So they do recce's and things like that. So there's loads of planning that goes into it. It's very particular where we're allowed to go, where we're not allowed to go, and things like that. So that's planned way in advance.
Yeah. And it's good that there's a rota, isn't there? Because they know what to expect when they go back to St Andrews in 2027.
Exactly that.
What's your favourite Open venue?
Are we talking in terms of people that won there, the aesthetics of the course, the difficulty of the course?
Actually, let's look at the experience of the week.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
You might say like, the town at Portrush was just Irish. You might say St Andrews. You can't beat
By the way,
them.
Portrush town is brilliant. And you go down to the Harbour Bar. We had a few nights at the Harbour Bar, and it's so fun. Open week's brilliant. When you have a bit of time, you go for a beer. Everyone just wants to have a great time.
Yeah.
All the public, everyone's just having a good time, talking about golf, talking about football, talking about loads of things. I don't know how much Guinness I drank. Quite a lot. I was, obviously, before I was going on camera, wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But like the early in the week, but just great fun.
Yeah.
Open weeks are genuinely really, really good fun. And I've said this before, I think the Irish are some of the best in the world. I love going to the Irish Open. Everyone says hello. They're always smiling, chatty. I love it,
Yeah.
But I think like Scottish Open, all of that, just absolutely brilliant. But that's a good question. Carnoustie was really good when Frankie won at Carnoustie. I'm sure he did. That was a really good week because Frankie had been knocking on the door for ages and he was such a popular winner. He was who was chasing him down at the end? Was it Tiger? Oh, I can't remember now.
That sounds familiar.
I can't remember who it was, but that was amazing. And obviously when Spieth won it, I can't remember now, where he put it in the driving range.
Yeah.
And then he had the hole in one, had the eagle go get that to Michael Greller. That Sunday was bonkers for an Open. And us just in the trucks, we were like, God, this is amazing. This is amazing. Like, that was an incredible... Birkdale? Was that Birkdale? My Open venues are just all going into it. Obviously, St Andrews.
Yeah.
Because of just the history.
Of course.
And anyone who's been to St Andrews, not an open week, go get a coffee in the morning. Go stand on the first tee, on the first tee. Go watch people tee off on the first tee. It's great fun. It's great fun because you're watching people absolutely crap themselves, and you've got the widest fairway on earth,
absolutely.
and you still seeing people miss it right.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great, but that's just really good fun. Yeah, St Andrews is great. Portrush is really great. I love a links golf. Give me links golf all day long.
Yeah.
Just Portrush is good, and then to play the next day was really cool as well. So Portrush would be up there for me, but I'm sure there's something I've missed that people are going to go, oh, I can't believe you missed that.
Well, I was at the Alfred Dunhill this year, and I was sort of based in St Andrews. I popped over to Carnoustie for a day and Kingsbarn briefly, but just the town. I was in the media. There's like a media meal that they have because I've got media passes. Just walking back past the 18th at night when there's sort of the lights from the hotels and all that are kind of cast across the course, which is literally on the road.
Yeah.
Swilcan Bridge is lit up at night. And then during the day, just the different bars. So the town for me is whereas Carnoustie in and around the course doesn't have a lot going on, does it?
Doesn't. No, not really.
So, from that perspective, I don't know, it's a good night out, isn't it, in St Andrews, for example?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Portrush is no doubt, I presume the
Portrush
same.
is great for a night out. It's really good. Yeah. The other thing I like about Portrush is there's not loads of pubs, so everyone's in the same pubs. So it's really good. So that's why the atmosphere is so good. But this year down at the Harbour Bar was great, and because the weather was so good, everyone was kind of in shorts, and it was just everyone just had a great time. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I think we could talk for a very, very long time. Maybe we'll have you on again at another point with
please.
Here.
I'd love it.
But we'll let's call it there, because it's been a little over an hour.
We've not even done social media golf yet. We'll do that another time. We'll do that another
Say
time.
that next time.
Yeah,
cool.
I can talk about plenty on that.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I've said it enough, and I won't keep banging on the drum on that. But thanks for coming on. I'm glad we finally got to make it work.
No problem at all. I really appreciate you asking me on. It's been really good.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, mate.